Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge, and let's talk horror. So Halloween was the winner of our poll, so what I'm going to be doing is ranking from number 11 to number 1, from least favorite to my favorite of the Halloween franchise. The next poll actually is going to be Child's Play versus Scream. So would you rather see me rank the Child's Play franchise or the Scream franchise? Comment below. Let me know which one you want to see next, and that's what we're going to do. But without further ado, let's get into Halloween. Coming in at number 11, we have Halloween Resurrection. I was trying to wrap my head around this and say, what could I do? Because everybody's going to know I'm going to pick Resurrection last. That's everybody's least favorite. What can I do to be different? You can't. This movie's that bad. And it starts at the beginning. You can't tell me that Michael Myers switched bodies with a paramedic, put his mask on and put him in there, crushed his throat. It doesn't make sense. Everything from how he sits up after he goes out of the coroner's van, from how he reaches for her, to his superhero strength, everything about it is Michael Myers. And then you got Kung Fu Buster Rhymes. A lot of the acting in this movie is flat. It's not bad, but it just seems like nobody wanted to be there. It looked like they wrote this movie quickly because Halloween H2O did so well. They needed a respectable sequel. They did not perform. There's very little redeeming quality about this movie. Maybe the fact that they were doing live streaming, which was kind of new at the time, that's pretty cool. But besides that, it's a very weak entry and a very good franchise. So coming in at number 11, Halloween Resurrection. Okay, coming in at number 10, we have Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Now, everybody that knows me knows I am not a big fan of the Rob Zombie films. The style that he does just isn't for me. I'm not saying they're bad films. I respect Rob Zombie. I respect everybody that's worked on his films. And while saying that, and you're talking about the Rob Zombie's Halloweens, I think Tyler Mane is the most badass Michael Myers on the list. I think that he was scary. He made Michael Myers absolutely terrifying. But Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, the whole Ghost Mom angle ruins this movie for me. I don't like it. If it would have been maybe just Michael seeing her, I could have played with that a little bit. But the fact that Laurie can see her too, and let's not forget, Michael Myers talks in this movie. Check it out.
Michael, for God in heaven, die!
I didn't hear you, Mike. What'd you say?
Die!
Mikey, could you say that one more time?
Die!
You see what I mean? You're going to tell me that Michael Myers hasn't talked in, all these years, and the next thing is just, die! Like, that's one of the things about Michael Myers. He doesn't talk. I mean, just ask Halloween 2018. We'll talk about that in a little bit too. But to me, it's just Halloween. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is a very weak entry that had a lot of potential with Tyler Mane being Michael Myers. So coming in at number 10, we have Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. So coming in at number 9, we have Halloween 6. Now, Halloween 6 does have Paul Rudd. Even if he was miscast, it's still Paul Rudd. But there's a lot about this movie that I very much dislike. I don't like the cult aspect of it. I'm not a huge fan of the Thorn trilogy anyway. I think it's the weakest of the Myers timelines. There's a couple redeeming qualities about it, which I'll talk about a little later. But I don't like the cult aspect of it. I don't like the fact they put a baby in a bathroom and nobody hears this baby all night, and they come back the next day and the baby's still there, just okay, in a trash can. Like this, the Michael Myers franchise has always been about being realistic, and there's a lot of this movie that wasn't. The only thing about this movie that's awesome is the massacre at the end. I think the ending massacre is super awesome. I think it's super strong, really good ending. So the third act of Halloween 6 makes it higher on the list than it probably would have been. But coming at number 9, we have Halloween 6. All right, guys, so coming at number 8, we have Rob Zombie's Halloween. There's a lot about this movie that is very, very weak, especially in the first act. And I'm talking about the director's cut, not the theatrical cut. But in the first half, there's a lot of really, really weak scenes. I don't like the hillbilly family, the Rob Zombie family. This is what I consider it. I'll come skull fuck you. And the mom's a stripper, and we get almost music video-esque stripping scenes. And it's just not for me. I don't like that. And I don't like the rape scene. That's something that I've never been a fan of. When it comes to rape, I'm out. When you start raping, I can't stomach it. I can't do it. It makes me severely uncomfortable. So I can't do that. After that, however, there's a lot of strength to this movie. I love Tyler Mane. I've said it before, I'll say it again. He is so brutal. He is scary. He is terrifying. And he really puts that on display in this movie with some of his kills. I think they're brutal. And he's one of the guys that you just love to hate as Michael Myers. Even after that rape scene, you're like, please kill those guys, Mike. Please kill them. And he's scary. He's terrifying. But I love Tyler Mane in this movie. That's about it on this one. All right, coming in at number 7, which is kind of controversial, I guess, I am going to say Halloween 2. I think this movie's pretty boring, actually. You could tell Jamie Lee Curtis didn't want to be there. It feels like it was lazy, like they didn't want to film it. It's something to me seems like a throw-in movie. There's some cool deaths in it, but there's also a guy that just passes out on a car horn for no reason. There's just a lot of lazy writing in this movie. It's middle of the road. I don't absolutely love it. I don't absolutely hate it, but it's one of the ones I think is weaker in the franchise. I think it's slow. I think it's boring. And by no fault of its own, I think that Loomis should have stayed dead on this one. So, again, I can't really fault this one for that, because that's really Halloween 4 that did that, but that's a big part of it for me too. So, coming in at number 7, we have Halloween 2. Coming in at number 6, we have Halloween 4. I was just talking about it. One of the things that really brings this movie down is the fact they brought Loomis back, and that's not a slam on Donald Pleasance, because he's amazing, but he should have died in Halloween 2. He's not a superhuman guy. He's not that demon villain. He's just a regular guy, and that explosion should have killed him. That being said, this movie is very slow. The reason this is high is because of 2 reasons. Danielle Harris and the third act. I love the third act in this movie. I think it's amazing. But besides that, this movie is one of the ones that a lot of people put really high on their list, and I don't see it. I don't hate it, but I don't see the infatuation for it. I think a lot of it is, oh, they did Halloween 3, and we missed Michael Myers so much that when they brought him back, we all loved it because Michael was back. But after the aging process, there's a lot of this movie that is just not... If it wasn't for the cast in general, I say Danielle Harris, I say Donald Pleasance, but the cast in general is so good in this movie. So if it wasn't for the cast, this movie would be a lot lower because it's pretty slow, it's pretty boring. So middle of the road, coming in at number 6 is Halloween 4. So coming in at number 5, we have Halloween 5. I think this is the best of the Thorne trilogy, and I get a lot of shit for that. But however, growing up, this was the Halloween that I watched the most, and it's the most memorable to me with some of the scenes. Growing up, I had a crush on Danielle Harris, obviously about the same age, and she did great in this movie. The cast of the movie is good. Oh, she's annoying, but they did it, like they nailed it. You hated Tina, you loved Rachel. It's just one of those things where they did their part and they did what they had to do, and they did it great. And I'm a big fan of Halloween 5, except the ending. I'm really glad they retconned the ending in Halloween 6. I didn't like the idea of Jamie being this evil little girl, but I think that this is a fun movie. It's not a great movie, but it's a really fun movie to watch. And in the Thorne trilogy, this would be the one I'd watch. So number 5, we have Halloween 5. Coming in at number 4, we have Halloween 2018. Halloween 2018 is a lot of fun, and it's scary, and it's really Halloween 2, honestly. This is the Halloween 2 we never got that we should have. I'm glad that they're not brother and sister again. There are some slow points to this movie. There's a lot of recycled scenes from the original Halloween. And obviously the Dr. Sartain storyline is something not a lot of people liked. And I will admit it was goofy as fuck when he stood up and he had the mask on. I thought that was absolutely just so stupid. But my wife luckily made me sit down and finish watching the movie, and I thought the twist was cool, but the mask thing really bothered me. And all we wanted was Michael to say something, and he's begging him, say something, Michael, say something, and he said die before. Wasn't that good enough? Yeah, I know it's a different storyline, please, I get it, but still, that's another part of this movie that really annoyed me was, we want Michael to say something. We want him to talk. We want him to say something. Why? Who gives a fuck what he's going to say? He's evil. We don't need him to say anything. We need him to be locked away forever because he's just an evil person. He has the devil's eyes. So coming in at number 4, we have Halloween 2018. All right, coming in at number 3, the original Halloween. I know. Catch a lot of shit for that all the time in all my conversations, but please don't get me wrong. I love this movie, and one of my favorite scenes ever is in this movie. This is it right here.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
I think it was. So that's another thing that's just so much. This movie is so memorable. And growing up, I thought Halloween was the weakest of the big three. The big three being Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. But the older I've gotten, I've realized that Michael Myers to me is actually the scariest of the three. He's a human. He's not a demon. He doesn't get you in your dreams. When his mask comes off in this movie, that's Michael Myers. It's a man, and he's terrifying, and because he's just pure evil. I love Donald Pleasance in this movie. I love his line deliveries of, I met him, 25 years ago, and it was just so epic. That whole scene is awesome, and the blackest eyes I've ever seen in a child, and it really scares you now. Watching it as an adult, it scares me even more than it did as a child. So, Jamie Lee Curtis, obviously Scream Queen. She did an amazing job in this movie. Coming in at number 3, Halloween 1978. Alrighty, coming in at number 2, we have Halloween H2O. Hear me out, please hear me out. Halloween H2O is so much fun. The acting is great. And as bad as Busta Rhymes was in Halloween Resurrection, that's how awesome LL Cool J is in Halloween H2O. They retconned it. She wasn't dead. She went into hiding. She's a badass in this movie. I love Josh Hartnett. I love the teen cast in this movie. Even at the beginning with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, that whole scene was a whole lot of fun. And you got this iconic scene. Come on. That was fucking awesome. You gotta admit, when you seen that, you were like, oh, here we go. And this is also, I'm a huge fan of Scream, and everybody knows that. And to me, this was Halloween Scream. It took a lot from what Scream did, and they did it the right way. It wasn't a complete rip-off of Scream. It brought the horror back to Halloween. I think this was the perfect route to go after the Thorn trilogy, and I think Halloween H2O is so much fun. I've defended this movie since it came out. I've always loved this movie. I think it's a great movie, and it's one that I would watch on repeat if I had to, because it's a blast. It's a lot of fun, and it has an amazing ending. Unfortunately, it kind of got ruined in Resurrection, but I thought this would have been the perfect way for Halloween to end. Unfortunately, it didn't, but it could be fortunately, because we haven't seen Halloween Kills or Halloween Ends yet, because at the time of this filming and release, those had not been released yet. So I'm very excited to see where those go. I'm so disappointed we didn't get Halloween Kills this year, but due to COVID, they did the right thing. We want to experience this in the theater. We want to experience it in IMAX. So I was bitter at first, but I'm happy. Coming in at number 2, we have Halloween H2O. And that brings us to number 1, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. This movie got unbelievably scrutinized upon release, and it's unfair because this movie is fucking amazing. Everything from the theme song.
Happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock.
All right. Sorry. Everything from that to the acting to the story, the kids are dying, and when you have that kid dying and then the insects that came out of him killing the mom, that's fucking epic, man. And the woman looking at the silver shamrock and getting in her face, and her face is cut. Oh my god, I love this movie. This movie, if it was just called Season of the Witch, I think would be, oh my gosh, it would have had sequel after sequel. It would have went over the moon. This movie is so much fun. If you guys, please go back and rewatch Halloween 3 Season of the Witch with an open mind. Yes, it's the one without Michael Myers, but that does not take away from how absolutely amazing this movie is.
You've got to, please stop it. Stop it now. Turn it off. Turn it off. Stop it.
Hold on. I could talk about this movie all night.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Dude, I'm almost done.
Stop it.
Okay, look, I guess that's where I'm going to end it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love doing these ranking videos. I love doing my first horror movie. You guys supporting this is what makes it possible. So thank you for doing it. Please continue to support. Stay what you are. Keep talking horror. And we'll see you guys soon.